and welcome to something a little different today, where I'll be building the Matchbox Panavia Tornado F3, and I'm not going to be building it as per box with box decals etc. I'm building it with alternative decals for a aircraft I remembered on the display scene, which was this one. It was in 1990, and the pilot aircraft was a Tornado F3 ZE907 of 229 OCU, which was an operational conversion unit from 65 Squadron, and it was the 1990 display aircraft. And here we have the cockpit, although it's not the original cockpit, it's been significantly altered with scratch building in plastic and etched brass with a bit of mesh overlay to represent the rear. Anyway, here it is with paint, and pretty much all the switches, screens, everything that was inside the cockpit has been replicated. Well, to the best of my ability anyway. Some can do it a lot better than me, but I'm happy with that for the scale it is, after all. Only 1/72. And here's where I'm up to with the actual aircraft. You may have noticed it in the background in some of my videos for the cars I've been building. It's been lurking in background, and I thought, come on, time you finished it off, crack on. And this basically is where I were up to. I had the airframe assembled and put in its basic upper surfaces of barley grey, which was, I think it was something like low visibility camouflage scheme they called it. For fighter variants usually operate at higher altitudes. I mean, that's not strictly true all the time. Sometimes they are lower down, but most of the time the work is at higher altitudes. And here's the instructions for the decals and colours. The colours are the same for all the Tornado F3s anyway. The actual colours in service never changed. They kept the low visibility greys scheme throughout. It's barley grey, light aircraft grey undersides, and a dark grey radome up front. And here's the paint colour sets I'm using. It's Attacker, which are outstanding quality paints. If you're building aviation models, they're absolutely superior to most. If you've used them, you'll know. And here I'm lining out first with, I think it's about 3mm tape, just to get the curves and the things I'm following easier than I will with the Tamiya broader tape. It's basically car pin striping tape for doing stuff like flames and things. It curves easier. And here we have with the basic tape on. And now what I'm doing, I've broken the lead off a pencil, and I'm going over it with the wooden end to press the tape down, whilst being careful not to scratch the paint that's already on. If I did do anyway, I'm pointing the pencil in such a way that it'll be where I'm painting that gets scratched anyway. And here I'm putting vinyl masking over it to save a lot of time. So I've put the thin lining tape first, then some Tamiya tape to broaden it out a bit, and then I've thrown on the vinyl masking. It still weren't 100% successful, as you'll see in the part where I unmask it, but it's nothing that a bit of touching up didn't cure. And here I'm putting on, it's the Airfix, I think it's 19 red, which were the closest I could find to matching the decals that are going on, and it weren't too bad a match, to be honest. A bit of the red went onto the top of one of the jet intakes, but it's soon painted out anyway. And here I'm lifting the masking tape. I thought he'd have left glue on, because it had been on for absolutely ages. I thought he'd have bonded to the cockpit, to be honest, but it came off nice and bonny, so happy days. There we have the view of the cockpit while I touch up. Just touching in bits, and on the side there, where the paint's got damaged, we're being moved here and there and everywhere. Whilst I've been building and tidying my bench, and as I say, it's just lurked in the background like most of the time. I thought, come on, it's time it were finished. And because it has the antenna aerials on the rear fin there, I just laid the decals over and pressed into it so I got a line, then cut into it with my knife, so then when I put it on it'll sit down easier on it without bulging with the radar antenna stuck underneath. Well, the aerial antenna, I should say, stuck underneath. And here I'm just going to grab the decal now. I've put some of the micro set on the blue one, just to aid positioning it, and always use the blue first because it helps position it, etc. It's not the one that softens it. The red's the micro sol, which means solvent, that actually softens the decals to sit into everything. If you wanted to save on one and just buy one bottle, I'd get the micro sol personally, because that's the one that does the most amount of work. And here I'm just touching in with paint where the actual decals weren't perfect, and there we are, that's the job finished, so it looks a lot tidier. And flipping it round so you can see the other side. And here I've masked off the undersides and everything, so same method as on the top, with the vinyl again for masking main areas. And next it's going to be the light aircraft grey going on the undersides. Tidied up considerably. And it's odd in a way, because where the demarcation lines are on the fuselage, it actually rolls underneath, and it's underneath. Sometimes it's on, most of the time, camouflage demarcation is on the side of the fuselage, but on the Tornado it's on the underside for some reason. But and here I've cut a small length of brass rod to make the pitted tube for to go on the radome. And here I'm just painting, it's another colour, Here, while I'm painting it, it actually looks lighter than the actual fuselage grey, but it's actually just a tone darker. It's not a lot, but just a tone darker. And there I'm putting on the underside decals on the fins, on the elevons, because they're actually used on the Tornado. They're not just an elevator, they can go in opposite ways to each other, so it actually can spin the aircraft fuselage, give it a bit more manoeuvrability. The actual Tornado F3 I'm modelling here was a fighter variant, obviously with the F. The F denotes fighter, and the ground attack bomber aircraft version, which were the first developed Tornado, was the GR range for the RAF, and the IDS for Germany and Italy, I think. Italy used the fighter variant like us, Germany didn't, but Italy didn't use it for too long and returned them to the UK. And I think, if I remember rightly, they decided to go possibly with F-16s, but they're all on Eurofighter now anyway. The Tornado was sort of a stopgap till we got the Eurofighter. We needed something and it was developed, so... And there we are. I'm just marking in, applying Microsol to make them adhere to the contours and give them the painted look that's advertised. I'm quite happy with this extra decal set as well, it's a good set. Starting to look really pretty with all the extra decals put on, like the aircraft's name, incidentally, I don't think I mentioned it earlier. It was called the Red Zebra. It was a display... Oh, what is it? The name I'm looking for. A display livery, if you will, or a limited... not a limited, an individual thing. And it was for the 1990 display season. And the aircraft earned the nickname the Red Zebra. And if you look at the side of the cockpit, just below the pilot's seat, it also has a design logo with 50 on it, and the outline of the Spitfire and the Tornado, and it signifies 50 years from the Battle of Britain. So that's what that was about, basically. And doing the other side now, getting other decals on the ejector seat triangles to denote it's got explosives in the ejector seats and it's a thing of danger. And here we have a little break before it comes on again. And here what I'm doing, the decals didn't quite match as it went onto the tailplane, so I'm just touching in the bits of red that are overlapping with the light aircraft grey, just to make it a tidier job really. I'm just touching in there, you can see a little triangle where it's overlapped a little bit. Got a quick dab of paint and sorts that out. And a quick dab at front, oops, all over the place. But yeah, that's a lot better. Just easy, easy. Oh shit, it's everywhere. as quite often happens. Anyway, I've visited the doctor regarding me shaking hands. I thought it was something more sinister. Well, it's not proven yet, but I thought it was more sinister, but the doc reckons it could be a thyroid problem, so anyway, I'll have to wait till I know from blood tests and everything. But it may get down to the root of why I've got shaking hands. I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm keeping building whatever, as long as I can. And I'm on this, I'm going over the jet pipes in Nuln Oil. I've already painted on I mixed up the colour myself. It was like a gunmetal and steel colour, couple of Vallejo colours, and then I added steel blue to it, dry brushed on, and bronze dry brushed on. And here what I'm doing, the tornado, just in front of the afterburners on the engine, you can see a couple of square bits of areas, and what that is on the tornado, it's a thrust reverser, and it flips up behind the jet nozzles and forms what are buckets. They call them buckets, and reverses the thrust. So what I'm painting here is the soot. They used to always get the soot up the tails from on the tornadoes. The GR and the F variants used to throw soot up onto the tail units from when they put the buckets over to give it reverse thrust. And it also went on the underside, because it went both sides of it. You can see them better there, the buckets that swing up and over the jet nozzles. But that was basically it. And for a change, I'm going to show you on this one in photographs what it finished up like rather than the turntable. There you can see the pilots inside. I painted them very detailed. They have the green helmets on with the white crosses. There you can see I've painted onto the helmets. I've painted all the detail on the bang seats or ejection seats. And it even has the pilots' names on the side of the cockpit, which was, 1 minute, Flight Lieutenant Fred Grundy was the pilot, and his rear seat operative was Flight Lieutenant Martin Parker. And they flew a terrific display. Anyway, here are some photos where I basically hang them on fishing line at my window, photograph them so they have the sky behind, and I use fill-in flash to get the details off the aircraft. Anyway, if you've enjoyed watching, please subscribe if you haven't already, and a big thank you for watching, and a big shout out and thanks to my subscribers. And all that remains is see you in the next video, and bye for now, and take care.